I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. First, a moment of silence for the passing of Bruce Unson, who was a former board member and also a zoning board member, and followed by a salute to the flag, please. Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, to start the meeting this evening, I had planned on presenting a letter of recognition for the passing of Bruce Unson. After speaking with his family, his daughter and son, they requested that we push it off until April when they have more time to prepare and be here, and we'll certainly be preparing that, that recognition and presenting it in April meeting. So I'd just like to say that the board obviously is saddened by his passing, and we'll certainly present that and address that next month as well. Let's start with the approval of the board minutes. February 4th town board meeting minutes. Anybody have any?
So
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Mary, clerk report, please.
A little better this month, month of February.
Can't be less than $53, I don't think.
I know, $53.50. Canaan Fellowship lease, $1,000. Games of Chance, $67.10. Dog licensing, $16. Building permits, $85. Certificates of occupancy, $125. Donations for St. Luke's, $100. Donations for Community House, $100. Total check for the general fund, $1,493.10. Trust and agency for inspection fees, $75. Total for the trust and agency, $75. Paid to New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets for dog surcharges, $5. So the total for the month of February, $1,573.10.
That's better. Thank you, Mary. Motion to accept the clerk's report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Mail review. What do we have?
We've been notified by the town of Livingston that they're going to have a public hearing tomorrow night, March 5th, at 6:45 p.m. at the Livingston Town Hall to consider the adoption of local law number 1 of 2013. This local law, if adopted, will amend their town zoning law to include a section on exploration for or extraction of natural gas and/or petroleum. And I've sent a copy of the notice if anyone would like to see it.
And it's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, the 5th, at 6:45.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, and we've received from the Columbia County Office for the Aging a copy of the Elder Express, and I've put copies on the tables in the back. There's an article on Meals on Wheels, and Eat Well, Age Well, meet OFA consulting dietitian Dawn Meyer. Then there's something here on the EPIC, New York State and EPIC Medicare working together program for anyone that might be interested. That has to do with your prescription drugs, I believe, mostly. And then on HEAP, there's information on HEAP. So it might be of interest to some if they
Copies are on the table.
read that. Copies are on the table.
Excellent. Thank you. Anything else? That's all we have? Okay. Correspondence for the web committee. Does anybody have any questions, comments, recommendations? Where is our webmaster?
I don't know.
Nothing at this time. All right.
Yeah, I saw him Saturdays. I thought he would be coming in.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to committee reports. Ed, you want to start out?
Okay, I've been researching, look for that paint grant from Ben Moore, and I'm still trying to connect with them. And thanks so much for all this information on grants for playground. That's going to be very helpful, because it's quite a ordeal looking for the right grant. So hopefully, I did find out that Ben Moore does have grants for paint in Canada. They didn't know that, but I told them that they do. So the person that's in charge is going to supposedly get back to me, and we'll hopefully see what that all involves, so we can get it underway before we have to go to work on the building. So that's about it.
Great. Do you want to just mention as well the meeting?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Thursday night at 7 o'clock at the community building in Germantown, I'm having a meeting on the SAFE Act. We did this in Greene County 2 weeks ago. Our group of Hudson Valley Americans for Freedom, we've been around since 2007. Basically, it's nonpartisan type of meeting. We're a nonpartisan group that's just political awareness, and we work with our representatives to help facilitate things. Holly Tanner had a meeting similar up in the college, I think it was Saturday. It's a little different venue. Her meeting was how to comply and what was the meat of the law. Our meeting will be a little bit different. We're trying to figure out what we can do to thwart this law. Captain Bartlett will be talking from the Clermont County Sheriff's Department. Dave Harrison can't come because his dad's going to be in a hospital. So Captain Bartlett will be speaking on behalf of Dave Harrison. And he is running for sheriff this fall, so it'd be a good time just to hear how he feels about this and other things. We're going to have Pete Lopez there. Steve McLaughlin said he wants to come. Kathy Marchone, when I was talking to her last Thursday, she said when she found out I was having a meeting, she asked if she could come, and I said sure. So I don't know whether she's coming or not. She may. Paul Shaika said he wants to come. He called me, wants to come. So it's going to be a little bit different venue. And people have to remember that the SAFE Act really isn't only about the guns. It's about how they got this thing in. And if they railroaded that, and God knows what they can railroad next. Pete Lopez is telling everybody this is just the beginning of an onslaught of a lot of things that they would like to railroad in. So we would like to, hopefully have a good turnout. We had about 250 in Greene County 2 weeks ago. We're hoping to get about the same turnout this Thursday. So it's open to anybody who wants to come.
What time is it?
Oh, it's at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock.
The Germantown Activity Building.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Okay, Bob.
Yeah, I've got 2 changes to the zoning law that I'd like to introduce tonight to the board. And my intent is to introduce to the board tonight. And I've not spoken with the attorney yet, because I expected to see him at the last planning board meeting, but he wasn't here. And I did speak to the engineer there. I've spoken to the planning board and the zoning board and the building inspector, so it's been kind of fully vetted. And so I'm hoping that we can get the attorney to have the material ready in law format for next meeting, at which time we would schedule a public hearing for the May meeting and hopefully pass it. But I'd like to just pass on to the board members. The first one and the most extensive one has to do with the mining, removal, and filling of lands section of the zoning law. If you read the first paragraph there, it says that any mining, removal or filling of lands has to be done by special permit only. So you have to apply to the zoning board for a special permit. Now, for the removal, there's an exception clause that if you have a bona fide building permit from the building inspector to build a new house, and you need to remove some material in the process of doing that, there's an exception for that, and there's another paragraph exception. There's no such exception for filling, which means if you interpret this law strictly, if you want to bring a wheelbarrow full of gravel in to patch your driveway, you've got to come to the ZBA and get a special permit. Now, I'm not sure if that was, when it was written, if it was a mistake or an oversight, or somebody thought they had good reason, or what, but it just doesn't make any sense, and the planning board and the zoning board agree that we want to make a change to make some exceptions. There is reason to have a special permit in some cases. If you're going to bring in a lot of material and fill in a low area and it turns out to be wetland, well, you shouldn't be doing that. So by coming to the ZBA for a special permit, you know, they will look and see what you're trying to do and tell you if you can or cannot do it. But as far as for patching your driveway or bringing in some soil for landscaping, or if you've got to make a repair to a septic system, you know, you should be able to do that up to a certain amount. And so if you turn to the back side of the first page that you have there, you'll see where it says March 4th, 2013 draft proposal. That's the exceptions that I'm proposing to make, and that I'll read them for the benefit of the people here. So the earth filling and depositing exceptions are as follows. The foregoing regulations shall be deemed not to prohibit filling or depositing soil, loam, sand, clay, gravel, or stone as may be incidental to and necessitated by any building construction for which a building permit has been lawfully issued under the zoning local law of the town of Clermont, New York, prior to such filling and depositing. So that paragraph is almost identical to the one for removal that has been in the law, but this has to do with depositing. Because I mean, if you strictly interpret it today, if you build a house and you want to bring in gravel for your septic system, you've got to come to the zoning board and get a special permit, which is, you know, it's ridiculous.
It's not what it was
I don't think it was,
intended to be. It was not what it was intended to be.
No, exactly. I don't think that was ever intended, so we're going to fix that. The second paragraph says the foregoing regulations shall not be deemed to prohibit filling or depositing of clean, that is, no toxic, hazardous, or C&D material, but clean soil, loam, sand, clay, gravel, or stone for use in landscaping, driveways, or septic systems, providing such material does not exceed 50 cubic yards in a single year and is in conformance with section 417 of the Clermont zoning law. 417 relates to the flood overlay zone and would relate somewhat to wetlands and that. So. And finally, if you've got a long driveway and you need more than 50 yards, still don't want you to have to come to the zoning board to get a special permit. Then you got to have a hearing, and you got to pay larger fees, and it takes time to have the hearing, and then they get 62 days to approve it or not. So the third paragraph that's there says the Clermont building inspector may issue a building permit to exceed the cubic yard restrictions of paragraph 8B upon payment of the permit fee, including applicable inspections to ensure necessity and compliance. And the inspections there would be if the building inspector deems that he needs to go out and look to see exactly what you're doing. And the reason that we do want to keep some control over this is because you don't want somebody just bringing in hundreds of yards to fill in and ended up filling in a wetland area, for one thing. Or if you're just filling in a low spot on your property, we want to ensure that there's not going to be any C&D material put in there and any toxic or hazardous waste. Right? So it's pretty straightforward. And give the board a month to look at it, and hopefully we'll have the attorney put it into a proper format that passes along to the next meeting, and then set up a public hearing.
It's good, Bob.
Along with that, since we're talking about the building inspector doing a permit to exceed the 50 yards, on the third page, we'll need to add to the resolution that has the building and use permit fees. And I've proposed that to be at the lowest level of fee that we have there, which is $25. So that's all of the filling and depositing material. The last page is a simple expansion of a definition. We have in our zoning law now, one of the uses is for storage units that people rent and self-service storage units. And there's been some discussion at prior meetings about, from some public about storage units not being allowed in the definition of it. Our definition was not particularly clear, but I remember when that was added to the zoning law, it was specifically added for that type of units. And in fact, there's been a couple of self-service storage units that have been approved by the planning board in town, haven't been put in, and there may be some more coming along. So we've added to the storage unit definition that structure may include one or more separate units used by different individuals. I think that should pretty well say that it's, the type of self-storage units that you see all over the place these days. So my intent is to have, hopefully to have the attorney have that ready for us and have both of those put into a single law that modifies the current zoning law by the next meeting.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for your research on this, Bob. I know you worked on this and went to all the boards, and I appreciate the...
Yeah, it's been fully vetted by the zoning board and the planning board, and if anybody's interested, I mean, I can show you that a number of changes and additions were put in. Septic system, for example, I didn't think of when I first wrote it. I said driveways and landscaping, and the planning board member said, well, what about if somebody wants to repair a septic system? Well, they should be able to do that too, and a few other things. The third paragraph, which allows for the building inspector to allow you to exceed the 50 yards. I didn't have that originally either, and that was thought that it would be better to go there because he's there every week rather than have to wait for the monthly meeting of the ZBA and wait another month for a hearing and wait another month for it to...
You could end up with seasonal problems of getting work done.
Yeah, and it's not our intent to disrupt the normal flow of things that the homeowners or even businesses, I mean, there's Ray or Southpaw's got big driveways, they may need to patch them as well. So we originally had put in for domestic, we took that word out also because the commercial guy shouldn't have to go to just the patches driveway to go to the zoning board for a special permit either. So it's not our intent to make it difficult for people, but at the same time, we do want to have some control over it. And this seems like the best way, and it's been, like I said, it's been vetted by the zoning board and the planning board.
So we'll present this in finished format at the next meeting, and then set
I
a
hope
public
so.
hearing for the following month.
Yeah.
Come on. Very
And there
good.
will be a public hearing, obviously,
In May. So, yes. Okay. Good. Very good. Anything else? You all set?
I think we're all set.
Thank you. Not here. Nancy, you have anything you want to
No, nothing.
add? Okay. All right, old business. Basically some updates on a lot of this information. The bridge update. I know I talked about this last month, said we were going to have information provided this last Public Works meeting on repairing or looking at repairing the Bigginsville Bridge. There was a lot of problems. If you haven't read the papers lately, a lot of problems, a lot of situations going on in the courthouse, which tied up the Commissioner of Public Works. He did not have adequate time to get the information together. He apologized, and he said he would come to next month's meeting with all the information. He was going to dig out the last architectural report we had. He's going to get some price quotes together as far as what it would be to purchase turnarounds and provide all the information so the committee can take a look at every option we have. There was other members of that committee as well very interested in getting this taken care of. So there is no money in the budget. I've mentioned this before for this project, but if it's accepted that it needs to be fixed, it will be put on the list and will be addressed, at least on the list to be addressed at some point or another. So again, I don't have anything else to update at this point, but it does look like there is enough support. We've been talking a lot about upgrading our roads and bridges lately, and I think I think this is looking like it should have the support. But again, I can't speak for everybody. But we'll let everybody know after we have our next meeting, and I'll have more details and information at that point. Bar vacancy.
That's been a long ordeal too, hasn't it?
It has. It's been
I
dragged
appreciate the
out.
work that you've put in on that as well.
You know, and I have to say, you know, obviously, I've been complaining about this for the past basically year since we decided to push, and then Livingston, Supervisor McDonald came in. Again, he came in with a resolution, his board is pushing at this point now. And we also received a letter from the Columbia County Traffic Safety Board, which helped, because they're saying that for safety issues, they would like to reopen. So the combination of all three of them is really, I believe, has the committee taking a good look at this, because, you know, it's not just me saying, hey, I want my bridge back. It is a lot of individuals, different individuals for different reasons, saying that this is an important bridge. So I think, you know, after next month's meeting, we should have the details, but, you know, I'm optimistic on, you know, moving forward with this. So it'd be nice to get something in place. We still have, I have the bar vacancy down, the Board of Assessment Review. We kind of not gonna say let it slip, but we haven't filled this position. We had a vacancy on our Board of Assessment Review. We do need to find an individual that is interested to serve on this board. We do have a training, I forget, Mara, do you know the training? Bob, you know? The training
It's
involved in it?
April.
It's in April, there's a training,
It's in April.
but it's not a lot of, it's a one-day course.
Yeah, it's about 3 hours, I think, if I remember
Okay.
right.
There is a small amount of training that goes along with this, but we do need to find an individual that's willing to serve on this board and be certified and take the training to serve for this year's Board of Assessment Review. So if anybody, obviously watching the film, anybody knows anybody that's interested, please send them our way. We'd certainly like to talk to them. As of this point, we haven't had anybody show any interest in the position, but we certainly need to find someone to fill that vacancy.
We haven't really advertised it that much either, right?
We haven't really advertised, I've mentioned it before, but we really haven't stressed the importance of, I think now that we need to really find somebody for, you know, to have trained next in April. So, I mean, it's getting to the point where we need to fill this position. So, anybody interested, please contact Mary, come into town hall, and let anybody on the board know, and we'll certainly make arrangements to meet with you.
Grievance Day. Grievance Day is the fourth Tuesday of May.
I think so, yeah.
So they have to be there for that day,
And
day and evening.
deliberation.
And then possibly some deliberations some evenings, but it's not.
Yeah, it's a matter of serving a couple days for the year. I mean, it really is not a lot involved, but it would be nice to have somebody that may have some real estate background, familiarity with values, you know, obviously throughout the town. You know, that would be helpful. So that's what we'd be looking for. Okay. The audit, I didn't write it on the actual agenda, but I put in here, I just want to mention the audit. I haven't met with the auditor that we hired to audit the books this year, but I know the bookkeeper, Brian, Fitzgerald has been in contact with them. I don't know how much information they've exchanged or if any at this point, but it is basically ready to get started. I haven't actually met with them to exchange any information. I know Mary hasn't met with them either. So as of this point, we really haven't got started yet, but they are, obviously, this is a busy time of year for them. I would assume we should be getting going here in the next week or two. So,
The commitment letter was signed?
yes. New business, I just want to move, I want to mention, because this was a nice surprise, that a few months back, our court clerk, Lee Clermont, applied for, first of all, he came to me and asked me if there's anything we could use, and they certainly have some needs in the court system. They applied for a court grant through the court administration, Unified Court System, I guess is the correct name. But they applied for a grant through the court system, and he put in for a new copier, because he had to make a specific new copier, emergency lighting, an air conditioner, and a shredder, I believe, are the four things he put in for. And I'd like to, congratulate him and thank him, because we did get awarded a total of $2,758.99 to put towards those items. It was broken down $21.99.99 to put towards a copier and a shredder, and the $559 to put towards an air conditioner and the emergency light. So that's very nice. I again like to thank him for his efforts. And as a matter of fact, in here it says, you know, you spend the money and submit the voucher, and then when I came in tonight, we received a check for the grant. So they already paid us for this money,
Oh, really?
which is, I think, unheard of. I don't know how New York is on top of this. It must be through the court system, because it's not through the state that's that responsible. So, but we do have the funds in hand, which is great. So we, you know, this is unexpected because we didn't know if we'd get it. So this is how we booked this.
Well, what happens if we don't spend it all?
Well, we have to submit what we've spent, and it has to equal, if not that much or more, we have to refund them. They will not let us keep any extra funds. So we have to spend all of it and
No
justify
Money
it.
that way.
No Christmas party.
No, no.
No, I was just wondering.
Excuse me?
No new roads for the
100%
judges
reimbursement.
either.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, absolutely. I
That's
mean,
great.
I know he applied for, I think he put in a little additional for extra. I mean, the copier, I think he put for a little more expensive copier. They didn't pay the whole thing, but they paid a good portion of it. So I don't know what they used for rationale and amounts, but hey, we can put this towards, like I said, the copier we could use to replace ours, and they can get a new one. And the emergency light, I have already contacted the guy, Mac Electric, that did this one. I figured he's, you know, it didn't cost that much to have this one, and I wanted to go ahead and put that in. I told him to actually go ahead and do it. I didn't want to price that, and it was a few $100s. I told him to go ahead and do it immediately because that's something we should get in anyway. We've been thinking about that. So, but we do have the funds in hand, and again, I'd like to thank him for that. We should, I believe, which I don't have prepared, pass a resolution, because we passed a resolution to apply for it. We should pass a resolution to accept the grant. We do it at the county level all the time. It's probably the correct procedure. We do a resolution to accept the grant from the court system for the $2,758.99.
Do you need to have that as a written
Well,
resolution?
I think we
or
can
just
do it.
as
Mary
a-
can write it up and then we'll sign it.
Okay, do you want to pass it now? with a
I would like
motion?
to pass it, yeah.
I'll move that we pass the resolution to accept the court grant. So,
$2,758.99.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Emergency light, the list underneath that, we just discussed that. I gave the authorization to have Mac Electric to go ahead and install that as soon as you could. Again, it'll be very similar to what's back here. The same system. It's for security, for safety reasons, we should have one in that room. We were on that before, that's why we applied for this grant, saying it was pending this grant, we were gonna do it. So now we have the grant, just authorize them to go ahead and do that. And the community house repairs, I wanted to get this on the list because we've talked about this. We actually budgeted money this year for the repairs of the back of the community house. As we discussed before, the siding on the back is in very poor shape. That was written up by the insurance inspector that several boards, I won't say several, some boards on the back of the building need to be replaced, and we need to get the back of the building painted. If you remember correctly, when the work was done on this building, it was sections were done, the backside was not completed. They only did a few boards, halfway up, 8 foot up. So there is the upper section, which I believe is probably 10 or 12 feet, needs addressed. Maybe some of the boards, I don't know how many, and I was going to ask if Ed would take a look at this when he gets a chance. No immediate rush, but something we'd like to do to maybe put some kind of work scope on, how much 10 foot by 30 foot of boards replaced.
We'll have it done by next meeting.
And painting, what we need to paint the backside. And that's something, like I said, we did budget, and I think we try to get it moving forward so we can at least get this bid out for springtime or summertime work. So, and Ed said he would be able to do that, so that's great, we'll get that going. Star exemption. I want to mention this because it was brought to the Real Property Committee this past month, that I just want to make everybody aware that New York State has passed it's a law or what they're going to, the regulations here, that they are going to, any property owner that owes $4,500 in state debt of any kind will lose their exemptions. Will lose the star exemption or the enhanced star. So I just want to put this out there, let everybody know. I'm sure it's been, I'm sure it'll be posted on the internet and it'll be out there for people to see, but Anybody that owes back taxes, anything over $4,500 in state tax, and in New York state tax, is going to lose their exemption. So that just is something that's very important, I would think, to a lot of people. So I don't have the time frame of when it's going to start,
So
unfortunately.
when they lose that, does that money then go to offset some of what they owe, or it's just in addition to what they owe that they lose it?
I
Doesn't say.
don't know. It just says that their star exemptions will be revoked.
How much is that?
Excuse me?
What's the amount?
$4,500. Anything over $4,500 in New York state debt of any kind. It's
So
not.
your taxes will go up so you can't pay your debt.
It's kind
I
of
was
right.
kidding about it, a little
It's
circular
gonna make it even
reasoning.
harder
I
for you to
was
pay your
like,
taxes.
okay.
Yeah. No, that's exactly my first thought.
That was my first reaction.
Right, yeah, I was like,
Okay,
it's
then
kind of
they can't pay
redundant
their
here.
debt.
Yeah. Well,
You
that's-
can't pay it, so you sock them
So you
harder.
hit 'em harder,
New York State.
okay?
Is it just property taxes or is it like income taxes as well?
Any New York state debt.
You have a lien for sales tax or the business or whatever, that's pretty
Right,
much it, right?
any kind of penalties or,
Anything, right?
yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be your
We
property.
actually was asked if it was only about the income tax, and no, it is any state
'Cause
tax.
you're right, it could be a lien on
Define
sales
any
tax, it
state
could be-
liability.
So, but that would not include your property tax, because that's school district and town, it's not state.
Right.
Right,
This is state
So
liability.
you can be behind on your taxes and still keep your star exemption.
yes.
Want to argue with that in court?
I'm just relaying the
That's a good
information. Contact the Office of Real Property if you have any questions on this, but that's where this came from. So,
And they'll say what?
yeah.
The state real property.
State real
Not
property.
county.
The county probably doesn't want to hear it, but
No.
yes, the state real property division would be the one to call. Okay. Supervisor's report. All right, what do I got here? We have some information I want to go over. New York Safe Act. I don't want to have a large discussion or talk much about this because it really isn't a place for the town, I believe, to get in this discussion. We have no effect on this whatsoever, but being a county supervisor, I do have a little more say, and there has been a lot of discussion on this issue. The state act has been argued, and many different opinions have come out about this. The county last month was going to pass a resolution or discuss passing a resolution to repeal or amend the state act. We decided not to, and it wasn't we, some decided not to. And it has been discussed several times since then. The county has finally prepared a draft resolution coming up for this coming month, which is the 13th, I believe, Wednesday night, to go ahead and enter into, or to sign a resolution repealing or amending, again, I don't know the exact words because it's a draft resolution, the SAFE Act. And, I certainly, I'm going to say that no matter how you feel about this act, if you're pro-gun, again, anti-gun, the process that this resolution or this act, this law was put in place is really the problem. It wasn't properly considered. It was rushed through, and there's a lot of unfunded mandates in this law that's going to affect everybody, not even just gun owners. I mean, we've had already 2 incidences on our county meetings where the county clerk has come in asking to move people around to help out in the gun control or the gun registration area. And she's also making us aware that the registration of all the assault rifles and the other firearms that have to be registered are now supposedly being pushed down to the county to take care of all the registration. And she's trying to make do with the staff she has, but there's such an increase in work and workload that she said if this takes place, she's going to have additional help. So there's additional labor that's going to cost us. The mental health came in to our committee meeting saying that the process that this law puts in place is redundant and puts more layers and more steps on his paperwork and his reaction to when a person goes into the hospital for treatment or they're mentally ill. It's just increased cost as far as he's concerned. He said it's probably tens of thousands of dollars a year more that's gonna cost for his process to cover this laws, what this law says. So, you know, it's really a lot of money being put down on everybody that I don't think was really considered when this law was passed. And I really can certainly support passing a resolution from the county asking that this be amended, or at least be considered, so they can certainly reconsider all the unfunded mandates that this really, you know, this pushes on the county and everybody as a taxpayer. So it is coming up for a vote next, like I said, next Wednesday, or excuse me, the 13th, and we'll see what the board wants to do, but I feel that it should pass, and I think it will pass.
That's why we invited all you supervisors Thursday night to hear what the people, how
Yep.
they feel.
No, and then, you know,
Because we asked to come to the supervisors meeting, they said, no. I said, well, then we're gonna have you come to us.
yeah, no, it's certainly an issue that needs to be looked at. I mean, if you look at, see how many counties have passed something opposing it or repealing it.
Almost all now.
It's very, I mean, it just speaks for itself. I mean, it really says that, you know, that needs to be looked at again. I think it was something that should have had a little more consideration than it did. So, just want to let everybody know, and, you know, we'll certainly, like I said, we'll have another 13th to vote and see what the rest of the county supervisors want to do, but I'll keep everybody informed, and I'll show you, read it before then. The courthouse, obviously, that's had a lot of press lately in the papers. The latest, it's a problem, but unexpected issue was finding a lot more asbestos in the basement than previously thought. You know, it's very hard when they price, you know, when they estimate a job as far as, you know, what's behind walls, what's unforeseen, and they found a lot more asbestos than they thought. Let's put it that way. There was asbestos cleanup done many, many years ago by who knows who or when, that wasn't done 100% properly, and they found a lot of residual asbestos, which is part of the problem. So they had an estimate of about $164,000 in additional cost for asbestos abatement. The original bid for asbestos abatement was $160,000, I believe. So this is almost double, it's over double what the original cost was. I believe that number is going to be negotiated. That was the first number that came back when they found the additional asbestos. I believe it should come down from there. But again, it's going to be quite a bit more to clean this up. And it's causing about a 3 to 4 week, what we're told by the architects, about a 3 to 4 week delay in the process because of this. Nobody can work in the basement until it's cleaned up. So as far as scheduling goes, you know, it still fits within the time frame allotted to do the project. There's certainly, you know, allowances for stuff like this, and the budget still looks like we should be okay. Obviously, we'll be okay with that number because you know, they had $600,000 to $700,000 contingency built into that. So this would certainly be covered under that amount. But the other consideration was, you know, was brought up that possibly we should look at the heating system in the old part of the building, because originally when we looked at this project, we said, well, we can still add on and put new heating systems in, but we could still use the existing heating system in the old building. Well, nobody actually brought up to the supervisors that the old heating system was 100 years old, steam-fitted system that really has been patched several times. So now we're finding out that, you know, it really doesn't make sense to put a whole new addition, put everybody back in that building with a system that could be garbage in 4 or 5 years, and you got to clean it out and rip walls down and rip floors up to get to it to repair it. So obviously now is the time to do this. That's being considered. We actually asked for some estimates from engineers to come back at the next meeting to give us a price on what they think it would cost to design and do this for the heating system. But they ballparked it around $350,000 to $400,000 to do this on the old building. I don't think, you know, you do an $8 million project, I don't think you can not do it at this point. So it makes all the sense in the world to do it and do it right while the building is empty, which is the biggest key. And the other one that was brought up, which is just another, was windows. The windows were all the original windows left in the building, single pane, not energy efficient. Now that's something that was brought up once to the supervisors. We actually looked at that back in the beginning of the project and said, well, you know, if we have to, we can get by without doing the windows. And I still feel that that's possible because, you know, windows don't displace people. You can go in, you can do, several windows at a time when people aren't in the building or, they're done for the night. It doesn't tear walls down, it doesn't make a mess. But to do it all at once, we tried to bring the project in as cheap as possible. Try to cut corners, that was one of the things we did eliminate. So now we're thinking about, well, if we're gonna look at this as a whole, it's about another $300,000 to $350,000 for windows. We're gonna consider that as well. We asked the engineer and the architect to come back next month with a proposal on both the heating system and windows to be lumped into this project at once. So, not sure how this is gonna turn out, but I just wanna let everybody know that, we're looking at it as what makes sense. You do it while the building's empty. There is savings there, but, trying to do a project without going over with the budget, so.
Have they looked at the savings and heating costs with new windows?
They're gonna come back with a projection on that. Their feeling was it wouldn't be tremendous, but there's obviously savings there. It may be a 50-year payback or a 100-year payback, but there's savings there. And that's something we asked as well for when they come back with a price, give us some kind of breakdown on that. So we're going to be considering that at the next meeting. So we may be increasing the amount we spend on that, but as far as I'm concerned, it would be money well spent. And we do have enough money to bond the additional money if needed to do both of them and still, fit within what we figured out for our pay scale. So we can do it, just a matter of what we were going to authorize to do. Pine Haven, we have the architect bids back on the design drawings for the spec the building out. These should be, I know they're back in. Our committee, we'll probably have a subcommittee to review these. We had 5 architects that we solicited for the actual design of the building. Excuse me, the design is done. The structural planning and bid package is what we're looking for now. We want somebody to actually draw this up so we can put it out to bid. So this will give us the actual dollar amount of what the project will cost. This is something that we need, and it still is reimbursable as far as moving forward with the project. We certainly want to move this forward project. We've been approved. Our cap is somewhere around $32 million. So when we get the architect's bids in and examine them, we'll hire the firm. They'll put all the drawings together for a bid package, and they'll give us a cost breakdown, so we'll know, basically exactly what the project will cost. So moving forward, we have to have this, and then we can determine, because some supervisors have brought up, are we going to build it? Are we going to build a new building? Is it something we want to do? I personally feel that it's one thing that the county should do, because the residents of Columbia County don't get a whole lot, and it'd be nice to at least keep the home in the county's possession so we can offer that to the residents. So they are still turning a profit, a slim profit, but they're not costing money. We're not subsidizing them. And until we start subsidizing them, I believe we should definitely stay in the nursing home business. Speaking of subsidizing, the CHA. I brought this up, and I'm going to bring it up again because it just keeps on aggravating me more and more every time I talk about it. The Certified Home Health Agency. Our meeting this last month, the new director of the health department came in and advised us it's in the Certified Home Health Agency program right now. This is I know I've spoke about this many times, but it's a program that the county should have got out of. We brought it up for vote last year. A little more than half, the majority of the supervisors voted to keep the CHA, where it's costing us anywhere from $600,000 to $700,000 a year to subsidize this for now 17 people. Approximately 90%, I believe, is fringe benefits, salaries for this program. And it just makes absolutely no sense to me why the county is still in this business with the depleting clients, because other agencies come in, like the Eddy, and there's other ones applying for the CONs, which is certificate of need. They're coming into the county, they're taking the people because they can offer the services that the county's offering. And the reimbursements are better for the private companies. The county just doesn't have the reimbursement schedule. So We should have sold this last year when we had the offer. We could have actually sold it for $100,000 and made a transition where everybody would have been taken care of. We didn't make that transition because, again, the majority of supervisors voted to keep it. I did not. And again, I can't get over that we're paying $600,000 to $700,000 a year for 17 people to be taken care of. It just bothers me tremendously. But I'll certainly keep you advised. We have a new health director that I asked at the last meeting specifically to take a good look at this. She only came in last month, and see if she can put her arms around this and see if she has any suggestions on how to obviously service the clients we have, but to try to maintain the cost, or excuse me, reduce the cost and maintain the service. And she says, give me another month to take a good look at it. So hopefully she'll have some new ideas, maybe put us in a new direction. But as of right now, it's a tremendous amount of money.
Isn't there some talk about going up to $1 million though, or is that?
It's projected where it could certainly go over $1 million, yes. Yeah. I wasn't even gonna go that far, but thanks for thanks for putting that out there. Yeah, no, it is possible. So it needs to be addressed. And I don't know, I think the supervisors that voted for keeping it last time may be reconsidering. I'd like to put it to another vote, and maybe I'll push for that. But I think, anybody that can justify almost 2% on the county tax roll for this, I can't justify it. I don't know how anybody can. $400,000 is roughly 1% of the county tax roll. So if you're up to $800,000, 2%, you can cut your county taxes if you did away with this program. So, but I'll keep you updated. That's about all I have on the county level. I just want to make sure everybody realizes the Easter egg hunt will be held here March 29th. It's going to be a Friday evening from 5 to 6 p.m. Usually it's been done on a Saturday, but last year we did it on a Friday night too. Seemed to work well. A lot more people were available. So Friday, March 29th, 5 to 6 p.m. right here. Bring the kids. You can see the Easter Bunny. Pick up some eggs.
That's actually Good Friday.
Yeah.
So
That's Easter. That's right. Easter Sunday. Yeah. That's the day they picked. I guess that's all I got. That's all I have. Motion to abstract.
Let's see, I move that we pay highway abstract number 3, vouchers number 18 through 28, in the amount of $14,496.38.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're missing something here.
Come on, you got a pen and paper there.
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's all right.
I thought something was missing.
Yeah. I saw that.
Okay, I make a motion to pay abstract number 3, general vouchers 43 through 69 for a grand total of $8,101.43.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And I'll make a motion that we pay trusted agency abstract number 2, voucher number 2 for $123.75.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, public communications, public comments. Any communications, comments for the board?
Sure.
Just mind just stepping up to the podium for us, thank you.
First of all, Bob, a question about your DEC, about your permitting for removal. DEC does have an amount, I don't remember what it is at the moment, but you had said 50 cubic yards if you could somehow match them up.
The remove, we're talking about the depositing and filling.
Yes,
The removal is, you need a special permit from the zoning board to remove, and if it goes up over 1,000 tons, they go by
Then
tons,
it
not
needs-
cubic yards, then you also need, in addition, you need a DEC permit.
okay, I just wanted to check on that one. Ed, I'm available to help out with playground grants.
Oh, great.
I gave you my number last month. We can sit down and
Okay.
talk about that stuff if you like. The certified home health aides, if there is some way with the nursing home staff that you could coordinate a travel group that may help with savings. And yes, I'm interested in the BAR.
I've asked that about, sharing staff and working with that, so that's something they're looking into, so.
Okay.
And if you're interested in the BAR, that's great, we'll discuss that, thank you very much. Excellent. Anybody else?
Silence.
Okay, before we adjourn, I have a need for an executive session. I didn't want to do it in the beginning, so I didn't want to hold everybody up, but, because this may be a lengthy discussion. But there's need for an executive session to discuss personnel, more specifically our assessor's term, which is ending, and salary. So I'd like to have a motion to executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay.
That's please, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Go ahead.
You want a motion to adjourn? So moved.
Second. I just had to do it to let him think we were.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
I mean, if nobody seconded you, Bob, would we have to stay here?